Hello, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name's Kyle and the scenery is a bit different due to me being in my car at the moment, but I digress. Let me get some water. So this video is going to be quick. I just want to touch base on why mixed race biracial black people are not only black. And I'm just speaking simply for the people that fail to acknowledge someone's like mixed heritage. So I'll throw out some famous names for reference and for example. You have Barack Obama. You have Zendaya Coleman. You have the artist, musician named Her. You have Christina Milian. You have Lauren London as well. And those are the names that come first come to mind in terms of biracial people or mixed race people that I know of that are mixed with black as well as something else. And so why is it that whenever there's this debate or this talking point in terms of and I'm looking around to make sure that I am being aware of my surroundings, of course. But so why is it that people, regardless of your race, if you are just predominantly one race or you identify as one race, why is it that you fail to acknowledge that this person is actually of mixed race? It's very disingenuous to ignore the fact that someone has a non-black parent. So in my opinion, if you do not have two black parents, you are not black. You may be mixed with black, yes, which is very accurate and very true, but you're not just black. And so for people who are saying that, oh, you're still black at the end of the day with that talking point, it's just very disingenuous to ignore someone's mixed heritage, especially if they don't have two black parents. So again, in my opinion, when someone has two black parents, they are, in my opinion, considered to be black. But if black and just black alone. But if you have one black parent and one non-black parent and they come together and create a child, that child is then biracial or triracial, depending upon whatever the child is mixed with and things like that. And so to not acknowledge that is just, in my opinion, very disingenuous. So because regardless of what the child identify as, genetically you can't run away from your genetics. And so and also just for example, I'll throw out some names for T.I. and Tiny. They came together and they had children, and to say that their children are only black and black alone is very disingenuous when they have white grandparents and when one of their parents is actually biracial. And it explains why they came out looking the way they came out looking, and they're beautiful nonetheless, but it's just very disingenuous to say that they're only black and when they're not, when they are of mixed race due to their mixed heritage. And it physically shows up as well. And so it's just very disingenuous to not acknowledge someone's mixed heritage. So again, if you don't have two black parents, you're not black. It's very disingenuous to not acknowledge your non-black parent and their mixed heritage. And so me, myself, being biracial and experiencing non-mixed people gaslighting me into saying that, I'm black and black alone, it's just very disingenuous to not acknowledge the fact that if you have two black parents, then yes, you're considered black. But bringing it back to Barack Obama, for example, he's biracial, and to ignore that, regardless of whatever race you are, to ignore the fact that he's biracial is, in my opinion, very disingenuous. Like, he has one non-black parent and they came together and created him, and which makes him biracial because he's mixed with two or more race. So if you look up the term biracial, which, take the time to do that, I'll wait, you know what I mean? But if you do look up the term biracial, it does speak upon when you're mixed race, when you are mixed with two or more race. And so that's what I am, and that's what my son is, and that's what that's what my father, my biological father is. And so to not acknowledge that is just, again, very disingenuous in my opinion. And I had to speak on that because I noticed I've seen some people speaking on it and everybody has a different opinion and a different mindset. But even with the famous woman named Zendaya Coleman, and she spoke about herself being biracial, and some people still consider her black within the black community, and within the non-black community they consider her to be biracial. And so, and it just depends on the person, but in my opinion, I choose to acknowledge someone's mixed heritage. I choose to acknowledge that there are a community of biracial people out there, including myself, including my son. And like I said, to not acknowledge that would, again, be very disingenuous. So thank you for watching. And if you did stick around and watch, thank you for watching. But just keep in mind, like, in my opinion, if someone is biracial, that means, if you look it up, they are mixed with two or more race. And to not acknowledge that is very disingenuous to me. So going forward, me and my son, we are identifying as biracial due to our mixed heritage. And like I said, to ignore your mixed heritage is very disingenuous. Like, if you do have two black parents where neither one of them are biracial, or neither one of them are mixed with anything else other than black, then okay, that's understandable for you to identify as black. But if you have one black parent and one non-black parent, then you should identify with being mixed race. So it's just very simple, and it's not rocket science, and some people make it difficult and some people make it hard, but it's not hard. It's very simple. I'm not going to pick one side over the other when I am of both, and so is my son. And it's just very disingenuous to not acknowledge that. In the future, I will share my experience moving throughout society as a biracial woman. At the time I was a biracial child. Now I'm a biracial woman. I will in the future be sharing my experiences and navigating and how I navigated and what I went through as a biracial person, and I will be sharing that in the future. And then in the future I will be sharing, like, how I choose to prepare my son for society, and how they'll react to him and things like that, and how to just prepare him for society, period. But thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more content. Thank you. Bye.